Hello, scientists. Paleontologists is what you're going to be today. In your distribution bag, you received a bag that looks like this. And so today I'm going to be walking you through on how to make a solid object like this. That's going to have, you're basically making a fossil. So this solid piece, a solid object, has something hidden inside it. And this was made by Mikey and his mom, and by doing the steps that I'm going to teach you today. And then we're going to wait a couple days. It's going to kind of look a little runny today. And then we're going to wait a couple days and not touch it again until Wednesday. We're going to see how it is on Wednesday, and maybe if we have to wait till Thursday, that's okay too. But should harden by Wednesday afternoon when you go to excavate. Now, when you excavate, that means that you're going to be using tools to be able to dig away at the plaster to try to find your object that you hid in it. Now, let me give you directions. So, inside your bag, you have 2 bowls. This one is for your final product, which you can see is mine here. So put this one to the side for now. Then with your styrofoam bowl, this is where the mixing is going to happen. Make sure you do this in a place that if it spills, you're not going to ruin anything like the carpet or the table, papers on the table or whatever. So make sure that you're doing this in a safe spot. And you're going to not be using your kitchen utensils. No. You're going to use the spoon that's provided for your mixing. So you have these 2 things. Okay. Then you want to think about what you want to put in that plaster. Now, Mrs. Ruckle has provided you with a little army guy. He's way cool. And a little, looks like a little unicorn, like a Pegasus, I guess, because it has wings. I have also provided in the bag for you a fossil. It's a Petoskey stone. And then when you get it wet, you'll be able to see all of its beautiful shapes on the Petoskey stone. So you could hide any of these, the Petoskey stone, all of these if you wanted to, or if you have something else that you would want to excavate. Just remember that whatever you put in the material will probably, like if you put a toy car, like one of those Matchbox cars, or something else that you could excavate, just remember that it's going to probably have some plaster that gets inside of it a little bit, and you're going to have a hard time getting that out. So you don't want something that can, if it gets ruined, that you'll get in trouble or that you'll have a hard time replacing. So anyway, you want a kind of a hard object. So pick your object. I'm going to pick my army guy. My dad was in the army and I like the army guys. So I'm going to put it in the bowl. See, I just put my army guy in the bowl. Then, and these directions are also written on the assignment. They might be in a little bit different order since I'm doing this live. But if you need a reminder, you can definitely look back at there. So you'll notice in this bag, there's a powdery substance. This is called plaster of Paris. And there's also another substance that helps drywall get really hard. The plaster that goes onto the drywall to cover up holes and creases. And then also there's a little bit of sand. Now the sand will help it to harden and be able to keep as a stronger mixture. So you're going to take your mixture, carefully pour it into your bowl. That's going to fill pretty high in your bowl, so be gentle on how you mix it. You might even need to do half and then add a little bit more and a little bit more from there. So a little bit at a time. Mine really was packed, really packed. So I'm going to suggest, actually, boys and girls, I'm going to suggest maybe you even do 2 of these. Maybe you want to put half of it back. I don't know. I'm going to put a little bit of mine back in the bag. I can't pour it back in the little bag, so I'm going to pour some back in the big bag. It is so full. I think that, and I appreciate so much mixture. This is awesome, but I'm just afraid that I'm going to put it all back, mix it around so I get an equal amount of sand and plaster. Then I'm going to pour some back, not all of it. See all of it? I'm going to pour about half of it maybe. And then I can do it again later with something else. You could try to do the whole thing, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm just afraid of spills at your home when you go to mix it in that bag. So now that all the substance is mixed together, like I said, I'm going to pour about half the bag into my bowl. And then I'm going to put a little water. So you will need some water for this activity. Now, if you're using the whole bag, the whole substance, you will need about a 1/4 cup, 1/4 to 1/2 cup of water. And this is in the directions. So you'll see here, I have a half. So half of a half, if we divide something in 4 pieces, half of a half is a fourth, 1/4. So I'm going to pour a little bit at a time. Now my goal is, now you can see I have about half the bowl because I just was nervous about mixing it in my office here over my computer with that much full of water or mixture. And what's cool about this is I could make 2 of them. So once this one dries, I can take it out of the bowl, excuse me, and make another one. So what I'm going to do is just add a little bit of water at a time and mix. Okay, so it becomes kind of like a watery substance. You can kind of see it watery, and then mix it with the spoon I provided, because you'll need to throw that away when you're done because it's going to stick really bad on the spoon. So you want to mix it around. I can see my object that I hid in there, and you can even put that in there later so you don't have to mix around with that. So mine's really, really runny even after mixing it. So I know I added a little bit too much water. So if I wanted to, I could put some more dry powder in there, some more dry ingredients, that plaster and that sand. I could put more of that in here so it's not so runny. You want it to look, as Mrs. Ruckel described, it's like pea soup. Only many of you haven't had pea soup before, so it's like a soup with some chunks. So see mine, I don't know if you can see, I don't want to tilt it too much, but it's kind of watery, guys. See how it's kind of watery? So I'm going to add some more dry ingredients, and to scoop it out, I'm going to use this guy to scoop it out of my bag, get just a little bit more dry substance. And we can just, you know what, we could keep adding a little bit at a time and a little bit at a time. So it really is up to you on how big you want your first rock to find your first fossil rock. If you add a little too much water and you don't have extra powder, it'll still get hard. It'll still get hard. You just have to sit and wait. You might have to wait an extra day, but you might have to sit and wait. So I'm kind of pushing down the lumps a little bit, stirring it around. See how it's kind of thicker? That's kind of what I want. A little bit thicker, okay? And then I'm going to carefully, so that looks a little bit better. I could even put in a little bit more dry ingredient to make it a little bit thicker. So I'm going to do that. Again, you might need some parent help for this because I don't want this to end up all over your house. So I want to put a little bit more at a time. So this might be the reason that she gave us so much, is because that we just want to add a little bit at a time, a little bit more and a little bit more, and then it will fit in your bowl. Cool. So mine's really thickening up. It's getting thick, and that's okay. It can be thick. See how it's kind of sloppy? That's okay. That's actually a good thing, because once you put it in the bowl, it'll already be a little bit of a hard substance. And so it will take not as long to harden, because it's not so watery. All right, mix it around really, really well. Really, really well. And then pour it into your clear cup. I'm going to pour this from here into my clear cup. I don't know if you can even watch and see. Probably not. So you know how to pour, but don't be careful not to crack the styrofoam too much, because we don't want your materials, your wet ingredients, to fall out and break out of the bowl. So see, mine is really filling up my clear bowl. I'll show you in a second. And I didn't use all the dry ingredients because I was just nervous it would be too much. So I'm going to make 2 of them. Okay. So this is without using a lot of the ingredients. It's already almost to the top. Okay. So if you use all the dry ingredients, you're probably going to be right at the tippy top. So be careful and don't spill. Okay, so you can kind of see mine. It is going to spill if I keep tilting it, but it's getting hard already. So I'm going to put this in a safe spot until Wednesday, like maybe even near the window where there's the sun beating in on it. Make sure animals aren't going to touch this and make sure it doesn't spill. You might want to ask a parent the best place to put this while it dries. Then in a couple days, a day or two, we will, I'll go through a video on how to excavate them. And then you're going to show in a Flipgrid on Thursday what it is that your process of what you went through. And as a paleontologist, you excavated your object on the inside. So I hope this was fun. I hope you had a good time. And just kind of play around with the substance, add a little bit of water at a time. Don't overdo it to make it really, really sloppy, like water. We don't want it to be that running, okay? But like I said, if it is, you can add more of the dry ingredients or just leave it and it will eventually get hard. It will eventually. So, okay, thanks for watching. See you later, scientists. Have fun.